So listen up, here's the deal. After the success of my last video talking about my horrifying Pikmin themed creations in Spore that I made when I was like 8, I went back to the depths of my Sporepedia and found a bunch more terrifying creations just waiting to be shown off. And since I like traumatizing people, since I like sharing with the world, I've elected that today, we're going to be exploring even more of my Pikmin-themed monstrosities in Spore. Yay! So, yeah, hi everyone, my name's Vantage Emblem. That last video did well. It's been one of my better performing videos, I suppose, since Pikmin Unearthed, which I will never top. Oh, I wish that I would do a video that did as well as that again, but it's never gonna happen, right? Anyway, you know what else is probably never gonna happen? Pikmin 5, right? We're gonna have a 20-year wait or something like that, so since you're not getting any Pikmin content any sooner than that, you might as well sit and see what I made before we even had Pikmin 3, or maybe a little bit after Pikmin 3. The time's nebulous here, around the time of Pikmin 3, when I was like 8 through when I was like, I don't know, 13 at the oldest, right? And since we got all the scary ones out of the way last time, absolutely nothing bad is going to be in this list, and there's no reason to jump out of your seats in fear, right? Yikes. Well, we'll get there eventually, but let's start with some of the Tamer creations. Okay, let's take a look. This first batch of creations we're going to take a look at were made in one of my original Spore playthroughs where I oversaw an empire of red Pikmin. I had designed for these guys a set of buildings and a set of vehicles, but unfortunately, fortunately, only a few of these creations survived a hard drive crash I had years ago. I remember being so distraught about this. I used to ice skate, and I remember being on the ice skating rink, and I was really, really depressed that I had just lost my hard drive with all my Pikmin Spore creations. Matter of fact, it's why I didn't have an old-style purple Pikmin and an old-style white Pikmin in the last video. Unfortunately, unlike their primary colored brethren, these Pikmin suffered the great hard drive purge, and they are lost to time, along with all of their societies and vehicles, and you know what? We're probably better for it. So, on that note, let's take a look at what we do have. So starting things off, we have the red Pikmin Ship, or should I say, Shipe, because the way I've spelled that is awful. It's not good. Maybe it's supposed to be like shop, like the old-fashioned spelling, but anyway, if you look at this thing, I really like the fact that I made a little red Pikmin on the vehicle. It's a boat for the main campaign, because I had a red Pikmin Empire. And I wanted to show that there was a red Pikmin sailing on this boat, but really, it's not anything special. I like the gong and bell on the front and back. It's just kind of a thing. Okay, so I just noticed this. Why is his nose going through the musical instrument? I'm just saying, it's poking through. That seems painful. Okay, so moving on. With any civilization, you gotta have buildings, so here is Landing Site 3! All caps. I really posted this online with the capitalization backwards. Okay. And this is not centered correctly. It looks awful, and I think it's supposed to be an onion. It looks like an onion, and it was kind of a house for the red Pikmin. But it just looks like something I wouldn't want to touch. Like that unused candy pop variant that's all spiky and just deletes your Pikmin. Yeah, it's like that. I wouldn't want to live in this. 0 out of 10. So you've seen their architecture, you've seen their seacraft. Now, let's take a look at their spacecraft. Oh, the Rampage Destructor First Class. Yeah, its description is question mark, classified, question mark. This thing is way more imposing than the other vehicles. It's clearly based on an Imperial Star Destroyer from Star Wars. It's got a lot of rockets. That's looks like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 rockets on it, and 2 ports for deploying smaller ships. It's definitely not the most detailed creation in Spore, but I was real proud of this when it came into fruition years ago. Yeah, I don't know how I forgot about this, but seeing it again, it's terrifying. It's really imposing and scary. I guess it's time we get to the more interesting creations. The creatures I somehow missed last time. And let me tell you, this video has a lot of Bulborbs. So without further ado, let's look at our first of our monstrosities. If you haven't seen the Bulborbs from last time, well, I think that someone is going to join the ranks of these two horrifying fellas in terms of nightmare fuel. So let's get into this. This here is the Shadow Bulborb, which, you know, makes me uncomfortable. I would not want to see this thing's face coming at me from the shadows. And this is not the scary one, by the way. That one's coming later. But yeah, this one seems to have, like, scarred, like, green scars down its inky flesh. And I don't like it. It's not making me feel happy at all. But it's kind of a cool idea. Like, I'd love a creepypasta Bulborb. I don't know. At least its eyes are, like, a nice casual blue. Like, that makes me feel better. Like, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't like him. He's real sketch. He really looks like he is something I would see in the back rooms, and I hate that. I don't want to see that. Oh, yeah, no, I don't like him screaming. That's awful. Okay, yeah, next creature. Okay, here's one I actually like for a change. This is the precursor to the Shark Bulborb from the last video, the Water Bulborb. And can I just say, I actually like this texture way better than I like the Shark Bulborb. I really like the stripes it has, and the kind of spotty patches. I really think it looks neat. Yeah, no, this one, just like the Shark Bulborb, I think is an actual, genuinely good Bulborb design that I'd love to see. I think Pikmin and aquatic enemies go together really well. We just don't have enough for blue Pikmin to do, and this guy, something about him just makes me go, yes, I want this in Pikmin. And that might be the first creature in this whole list that I've thought that about. Alright, next, here's the blue Bulborb, and oh, those proportions are something else. He's, well, let me just put it this way. He's supposed to be a short Bulborb whose legs are the same size as normal Bulborbs, and I don't like this one bit. Like, look at him. He's just, something about him is in that uncanny valley. His body is just physically too small for those legs. Yeah, no amount of dancing is going to make me like him. He just looks wrong. I mean, compare that to the Water Bulborb, which I admittedly misread when going back through my creations as Walter Bulborb, which, you know, great. Compare that to the Water Bulborb, and you can see even, like, these dwarf variants look really great. Like, look at them. Like, these are its young, and they look so cute. Like, I would have one of these as a pet. I wouldn't touch the Shadow Bulborb, would not touch the Blue Bulborb, but these guys are all right in my book. Hopefully, you know, I'm 1 for 3. Maybe I can come up with another good Bulborb design, right? So this next... what is this? This next one is called the Tail Bulborb. And the way I made this thing is I took a Bulborb from my existing Bulborb design. I shrunk down its body so it just had a spine and no real mass to it, and called that a tail, and then gave it a horrifying paint job, and it animates so awfully, and oh no, I don't like it. So yeah, let's take a look at what its young look like. Equally as bad. Awesome, let's move on. So just like last video with Shadow Raptor 101's Pikmin acting as a guide for me, I eventually found a template for making Bulborbs and kinda just stuck to it. This is the Red Bulborb by E17707. I know, a mouthful of a username, but it's a really good Bulborb creation when it decides to stay still and, you know, animate properly. But it looks really good. I really like it. It's a really, really, really good creation. Here's the thing. I kind of just copied it and made a bunch of different color variations of it that are pretty cool in terms of the concepts behind them anyway, but, you know, 11-year-old me could have done with putting a little more effort into some of these. Let's take a look. So, the first of this set is the Grass Bulborb. I was really into the idea of Bulborbs that blended into the grass. The Grass Bulborb, I kind of love the fact that its face is this mossy texture. It kind of looks like wood, and the back, the spots kind of look like stones, so it gives this, like, weird barky texture that I actually really like this. This is a good paint job from me. Next in line is the Neon Bulborb, which is supposed to emit light. I believe those were glow caps that were supposed to be on the back of it, and it just kind of glows at night. And this was a really cool idea. You know, I think we're 2 for 2 Bulborbs right now in terms of the new style. Obviously, the models look much better since we're borrowing from that red Bulborb that I was talking about. But yeah, this is not a bad creation whatsoever. I think this is a cool idea. Alright, so how can we possibly follow these two good guys up? Well, if you were guessing the chocolate Bulborb, or should I say chocolate, because I couldn't spell, yeah, that is not what I expected either. And I barely see this thing as chocolate, but sure. The description says it's epic, but tasty, and you know, I agree. Alright, the next creature on this list, which actually is pretty interesting, is the zombie red Bulborb. I like the idea that these parasitic plants, perhaps variants of the Bulbmin, have taken over this Bulborb, and it just looks like it's been resurrected from beyond. It looks like it's not doing pretty well, and those spots are really uncomfortable looking, and it's got leaves growing out of it all over. I was imagining this would be a big kind of swarm of Bulborbs that would just stagger towards your base and you'd have to fight them off. And we kind of got an idea like this in Pikmin 4, actually, with the night missions and with the moldy Bulborbs, so there you go. Of course, I wanted these things to be big, full-blown Bulborbs, not breadbug mimics or juveniles, so, you know, not quite the same, but maybe in Pikmin 5 we get a moldy adult Bulborb that you have to fight with white Pikmin. That sounds cool. I like it. Let's do that. Alright, so this next one is real messed up, coming from my, 11-year-old self. This is the Makeshift Bulborb, a word I actually managed to spell right, magically. And it's a Bulborb made from other Bulborb parts. It's a Frankensteinian monstrosity of a Bulborb. I think this is a neat idea, kinda looks like a Minecraft zombie, but you know what? That's such a weird concept, and I was imagining, I almost guarantee you when I was younger, that this thing came out of some sort of lab or science facility, which is something I'd love to see in Pikmin. Some sort of laboratory that explains some of the weird situations in the game. But I digress. The point is, this guy is a little freaky, and I appreciate my young self for making that. Again, these ideas have been pretty good so far. I really hope there's something awful to make this video more interesting, because right now, snooze fest. These are good ideas. I spit on these ideas. Give me something more interesting. Yeah! Why do I do this to myself? That is the boss Bulborb, and that makes me really uncomfortable. I hate it. It doesn't look anything like a Bulborb. Why is it just an orb with a giant maw of death on its front? I don't appreciate this fella. Not one bit. Nope, he can go back into the drawer of I don't ever want to see you again. Please. And thank you. I don't... No, keep this thing far away from me. I don't like the way he stretches. Oh, that's... No, please, no. Oh. Yeah, this is the guy that I would put with the, you know, other two Bulborbs from the last video. Yeah, the smiley Bulborb and the death Bulborb. Like, please, no. I just get him away from me. He's not... Alright. I regret what I said. Back to good ideas. This is the green Bulborb. I know, it's kind of lime, but the idea would be that this thing is immune to acid, which was a big thing I was big on being added into Pikmin that, you know, we haven't got yet, so Nintendo, you know, might want to do that, right? But, you know, the lime green color has been used now for glow Pikmin, and I couldn't be happier, so yeah, this Bulborb, not the best idea, not the worst idea, but the gold Bulborb, now I love this idea. We basically got this thing in Pikmin 4. It is a Bulborb that is glowing and makes your treasure gauge go off because, hey, it's big, it seems like treasure, but it's not really treasure, it's just a Bulborb. So you have to track this thing down, fight it, and then, you know what happens? You know what happens when you fight this thing? It's just a regular Bulborb. It just messes up your treasure gauge. And it functionally can drag Pikmin away from your squad when you fight it. That's the only little gimmick it has, which is a lot like the Guildmander, which is really cool. I love that, you know, my 11-year-old self and current-day Nintendo thought a lot alike. Like, that's crazy. Nintendo, I had that idea when I was 11. Get on my level, Nintendo. Actually, never mind. Don't get on my level. I never want to see you make the Boss Bulborb an actual thing. I mean, you know, with the great artists at Nintendo, maybe they would make it so good. And I would be like, wow, that's great. But, like, really? No, I don't want to see that. I don't want its claw game mouth coming and picking up my Pikmin. I just don't like it. I don't know. I thought this was cool at one point in my life, but it just looks icky. That's the word I have for it. Alright, that's enough of Bulborbs for a minute. Let's take a break and look at some other things. So, this is space armor. I like the idea of this being a collectible that you could pick up, just like the upgrades in Pikmin 2. Big fan of that. If you remember Captain Ike from the last video, well, here's Captain Sam. I like 3-letter words. It was also based on Shadow Raptor 101's creation, this time his Olimar. This was supposed to be Olimar's son. I like his cybernetic eye enhancement and his kind of buff mechanical arms. The idea is this is sometime in the future, and he's going to the Pikmin planet instead of his father, who has probably been traumatized beyond relief and won't go back to that planet. Which makes sense, you know, if I was expecting smiley Bulborbs to be there. Smiley Bulborbs. I hate the smiley Bulborbs. You enjoying our break from Bulborbs? Great, let's get back to Bulborbs. This is the Bulborb Contest. So what is this? Well, this is exactly what it sounds like. A contest young me was hosting for people making Bulborbs. What were the prizes? I don't know, because nobody entered. There were no entries. Nobody made a Bulborb. I wonder why. Well, let's take a look at the rules, shall we? Rules. Don't change the mouth and teeth. Spikes on side of mouth. Don't steal. Don't change coat and detail pattern. You can change the color. No Bulbmin. That's a great way to spell Bulbmin. Consistent with the way I spell Bulborb. I like these rules. I think we can add something else to them too, you know. If you can't change anything, I think we can add this next rule and be in the spirit of it. So let's, no fun allowed, lol. Get wrecked, kid. So, nobody joined my Bulborb contest, which meant no one was looking at my Bulborbs for examples, and I did not like that. So, I had made an adventure that I thought also would serve the function of, you know, getting people to look at my great Bulborbs, and it was called Add a Bulborb. The idea was people would see my stuff and they'd add their own Bulborb. No one remixed it, as far as I'm aware. No one added a Bulborb. Maybe it's because they couldn't find it because I spelled Bulborb wrong. I don't know. But, you know what is funny? Watching the absolute chaos. What is this? Tasty Pikmin? Juicy Pikmin? Why do I have the Lieutenant Bulborb who's at Roar, and why is he here as my leader? Why can my childhood Spore stuff made no sense. And with that, I think I've gone through every single Spore creation that has survived the hard drive crash of 2010 or whatever that I have from Spore. But I'm not done with Spore stuff. I'm going to be making stuff nowadays, and it's going to be wild, but that's going to happen later. Not right now. I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed. That being said, did you enjoy any of these creatures? Were they better than the last batch? Do you miss the smiley Bulborb? Like, let me know in the comments below. That being said, if you enjoyed this, subscribe. Let me know you like Pikmin Spore stuff. That's great. Anyway, I'll stop rambling and end things here. My name is Vantage Emblem. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.